So, you decided to click on this video because you are new to Lumber Tycoon 2 and you want to know the fastest way to stock up? Well, I can show you all the tricks and all the most efficient ways that you can stock up, alright? Now, these may seem little, but they do go a long way. First off, what you're going to want to do, and don't do this during stock up season. You could be stocking up instead. Don't waste stock up season time, all right? Stock up season is roughly only 60 days a year, and there's 365 days in a year. Build a safari door bridge off stock up season. Off stock up season is from the beginning of January till the end of September, and, for most of November, all right? Because, the Thanksgiving stock up season items don't get released till closer to Thanksgiving, all right? So, my second most popular video as of when this video is being recorded and uploaded. Alright, watch that video. It's a tutorial to teach you how to build a safari door bridge. It won't be one like this, alright, although you could build one with like this, with like the same instructions, but like, you gotta switch it up a little bit. But like my version is, yeah, you'll see it when you watch the video, alright, if you watch the video. This way, you can stock up more efficiently, alright? And you get to avoid paying bridge costs, which will add up over time. Another tip I have in store for you, well, is to literally bring a vehicle into the store. Yes, the smallest car, not in this shop, but the small car from Woods RS with like the pink box, all right? So what you're going to want to do, by the way, never park your truck like that when you stock up unless you're in a public server. I'll explain that in tip number 3, all right? Bring a small car in here, all right? Whenever there are items, let's say over here, or in Woods RS, they're on the shelf in the back, bring this to Woods RS as well, all right? Load this up with a maximum of 14 items. Even 14 items gets a little tricky, all right? But, this is only 4, so I won't be loading it up with a maximum of 14 items. Don't load these items up. These aren't stock season items. This is most likely not a stock up season item, all right? Don't load, these aren't stock up season items. Just the stock up season items, the ones that I make videos and I scream my head off about and be like, oh my gosh, this is a new stock up season item. You drive the car back, then load up the counter, and then buy these, all right? Multi-purchase is a thing. Instant respawn is a thing, so if you played the game a while back and you forget how to play, just gonna remind you on that. Tip number 3, and this is only if you're in a private server, all right? Unless you're in one of my private servers and you're one of my fans, and then there's another fan who wants to stock up on that item as well in the private server, then, be courteous and, park your truck like this, not blocking the doorway and like this, all right? This is the most, or if you're in a public server, park it like this so that you can get the item out and into the truck quickly. Now, if you're in a private server, your own private server, or if you're in my private server and no one else is there, or your friends or something, take up the whole space, all right? Take up the space like so. Take up the entire spot. Boom. Well, actually, don't park it like this because you don't want the door, pushing out the truck. You want to get as close to the shop as possible. This goes for all shops except for Bob's Shack, Link's Logic, and the Fine Art Shop. Load up your truck like this. Just put it right there, and that way you can instantly just do that. If you're on mobile, this is also, well, actually, if you're on mobile, hold on, I got a version for if you're on mobile. Do this only if you're in the in a private server, all right? Or you're in a friend's private server or my private server, and you are alone, all right? See, apparently there's a bug on mobile that, if you can't, if you're standing in the shop, you can't have the item go out further than that. So, just, put it here, and, it's efficient for if you're on mobile, all right? I don't recommend having this truck on like this normally because you get less space for the truck to load stuff up in. But if you're on mobile, that's a different story because, there's a whole time waster of, like the item stopping when you're in the store and you're trying to put the item out, all right? Unfortunately, you can't fit your truck into Woods RS, so then instead just park your truck sideways like this. If you're in a public server, just do what I did before. Park the truck like this, but right next to the door. You do not want to ruin other people's stock up season experiences. I'm not going to scurry on all the way to Link's Logic or the Fine Art Shop, but if you're in Link's Logic, just back your truck up the slope carefully. Sometimes you could get stuck on there. If you don't want to risk it, then just, park your truck near there, all right? That is free if you're in a private server, and if you're in a public server, just courteously park it like this, but like somewhere on this side of the building, relevantly close to the doors. Also for this, if you're in a public or a private server, does not matter. Load up your truck like this. Then you can, this is a bit too close because you can't pop in and out the window. So just slightly more like this. If the item's bigger, like the big turkey, well, the big turkey's out of stock. And, you know, unless you're a time traveler, I don't know of any time travelers. I don't know if there's any time travelers. Just put your truck here, or no, we'll put your truck here for future bigger items, and then, you know, carry the bigger item out. But anyways, or if you're a time traveler and you can time travel back. Well, actually, don't time travel back just to get items that you didn't know about in LT2. That's kind of not fair, all right? But I don't know. I'm not doing that. All right. But anyways, let's say this is a stock up season item. It's not, but sometimes I like to stock up on dynamite. You know, it's a good item to stock up on because if you go for a lot of ice wood, all right, pop the item out just like that. Quite simple. All right. Now, I hope Egg's not watching this video because this will give him a little bit of inspiration to blow up some trees and stuff in LT2. And he's been blowing up too many things, all right, in LT2. He needs to calm down. If you're in the fine art shop, then just put the truck wherever, all right? In the shop, obviously. And I guess, you know, relatively close to the item. Well, actually, yeah, put them right next to the items or, you know, the counter and stuff. That's what I'd recommend. Now, tip number 4. When you are stocking up. In Bob's Shack, you could just stand in pretty much one spot or, you know, not have to move much. You could just, like, scurry the items on out. You just grab all the items off the shelf and put them on the counter and then just put them out the window like I showed you before. Well, I didn't do that exactly. For the fine art shop, just get the items. And yeah, you have to get them. But in these, well, yeah, you have to get all the items one by one technically. Do not bring a small car all the way to the fine art shop. It is not worth it. All right. In fancy furnishings, or if there's ever a stock of season in box cars, just do what you do in Bob's Shack. All right. But you know, load up your truck in the ways I described for like mobile and other players for fancy furnishings. Unless that, I think that door's smaller. Never mind. Don't back your truck up into there if you're on mobile. Anyways, load up multiple items, all the items you possibly can of that item onto the shelf, or not the shelf, the counter. 14 items max, because more items than that is harder to deal with. If you're on mobile, you might want to do a little bit less, all right? Depends on what you're comfortable with. Also, be sure to constantly tap the item before you buy it. What I mean by that is, you know, let's give an example here. So you're driving your car over here, all right? Driving. You load up the item here, load up the item there, load up the item, and then, oh my lord, the legendary Gojo, the Giga Chad, send me a Curious George fanboys meme. I got all tap and check. Be sure to come right back, and then be sure to tap the items, all right? The items will despawn will become untouchable after 45 seconds, I think, untappable. Sometimes there's a bug of where if you can't pick up the items out of the car if you get close to the counter. If that happens, you have to join a different server, all right? That's just that, all right? I think it's a server bug, all right? Also, be sure not to accidentally press E twice. Actually, I'll save that for the next step. But anyways, load up your items. And then if you're loading up even more items, once in a while, you just want to, you know, just tap these carefully if you have so many items on the counter, all right? If you're taking a long time or something. If you're on mobile, don't worry about that because it takes way too long to grab items, all right? Multi-purchase. Also, whenever you purchase, make sure to only press E once. If you accidentally press E twice, it's a bug for you, not the server. You can accidentally get your character stuck in one spot, making it so that you cannot press E on anything. You'll have to get a friend, or you'll have to use one of the stock of season items to just push you into the vehicle. You will be able to drive, though. All right, if you reset, you'll be able to walk again. But if you get close to a vehicle, then you'll... Or actually, I think the counter it is. I don't know what it is. You'll eventually get stuck again. The best thing to do is just leave the server and rejoin. It's nothing wrong with the server. It's something wrong with the player, with your character, all right? Well, not the... No, I'm just saying, like, you know, just a bug in the game with your Roblox character, all right? That was tip number 5. I don't know. I lost track. Yes, it was. Another tip is if something's really expensive, like 48,000 costing present, don't get as many of those as you get these. The cheaper the present is, the more you want to get. If there's anything 1,000 or under, stock up like crazy on it if you can, all right? If you have like a budget and you only want to spend, like, buy a certain amount, why would you only buy like a... Or actually, if you're on a budget, that makes sense. But like if you have like a crap ton of money and you're choosing not to spend the rest of it, or at least try to, what? not. Although some people might be busy or not have enough motivation in this game, and that's all right. It's quite unfortunate, but you know, it's whatever. It's whatever. All right. Wait, is it? I got confused. Well, what tip was I on? Oh yeah, the expensive one. How did I forget that easy? All right. If you have a ton of money, like if you have millions, like this base does, then maybe get like, you know, a little over 50 of those really expensive axe presents, or maybe even a little bit more. All right, but make sure to only spend about 2 mil per a very expensive item. If you want to spend more, be my guest, but I recommend you save a ton of money for the really cheap items, because you can get way more of the really cheap items. You don't want the expensive items eating up your money too much. And plus, exploiters will go in and dupe the more expensive presents once they go out of stock. Therefore, if you want to resell the players, you know, you won't get nearly as much profit. Well, I did not mean to use the word nearly. I'll take out, pretend I didn't say the word nearly. If there is a ball present this year, make sure to wake up at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're in the Eastern Standard Time zone, time may vary if you're in a different time zone or something. But it's 5 a.m. for Eastern Standard Time zone. If you can basically just calculate what is like find out your time zone. Like say ask what time zone has state your current time. Quickly just go into a browser. So let's say for me, what time zone is 10:30? What time zone is right now's 10:36 in? All right. What time zone is 10? Oh no, I didn't. Oh, I messed. Okay, that's what time zone. Nah, I don't know how to ask that though. If for you to figure out your time zone. No, I would say type in what is your time zone. All right, you'll just have to hope that you figured out your time zone. Then type in how many hours ahead or behind is your time zone, whatever your time zone is, said time zone, away from Eastern Standard Time Zone. And then do a little bit of math. Let's say it's 5 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time Zone. Then you have to wake up at 10 a.m. If you're not there at 10 a.m. for Christmas, if you have plans, it's just quite unfortunate. Try to get there on mobile if you can. Unfortunately, you can't. Basically, right at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, join with a very little base with ball presents on there, and then open it right when you get into the server for the lowest number ball chance. All right. There is no ball present in the game currently right now. Normally there is one in the game by now, but there's not. All right. Electric Tech has a tutorial on like a ball opening mechanism or something, like a machine or something. Not really a machine, but like a build or something. I will probably link that in the description of this video. Sometimes if there's an item, let's say there's an item right here, these couches, these chairs, like if there are items here, it's not worth, or if there's only one on the shelf, it is not worth starting up a car for. All right. All you need, you just might as well just load the counters up with all the, stock of, let's say these are stock of season items. They're not, they're in all year round. All right. That's why I'm tossing them to the side. They're in all year round. All right. But yeah, make sure to, do that. Don't, with your own judgment and like time, all right? You want to save as much time here, even though it sounds like such a hypocrite because I'm wasting so much stock up season time right now making this video, but I'm sacrificing stock up season time for you. Think of it like that, all right? The last stock of season tip, I forget what number, and I'm afraid, and I'm scared that I'm even missing some because like there's just so many tips that I have. Well, actually, maybe not. Who knows? But like, I just forget. I feel like I'm forgetting some tips, but this is all that I can really think of. All right, like all the basic ones that you'll need that'll definitely speed up your stock of season time experience. Also, actually no, never mind. Oh, make sure not to put too many presents on any counter because eventually then it'll say, oh, too many items on the counter, and then you'll waste stock of season time. All right. Anyways, what I do is I back my truck up into a pile. That is the most efficient for me. If you want to mass stock up on these, it will cause a pain of like organizing later. Organize when it's off stock up season. All right. If you don't want the pain of organizing later, then fine, whatever. It's a lost cause. But just respawn your vehicle. Don't try saving it. All right. It takes too long. Just respawn it. All right. Not too expensive unless, you don't have as much money. If you're on a budget or something in Lumber Tycoon or anything like that, then you'll just have to conserve your vehicle, all right? Here's how you do that. Go into floors, tiny floor. Buy the tiny floor from Woods R Us, by the way. Press R to rotate, like right on the vehicle or in the back. R is to rotate. And you hover the blueprint. Press R to rotate, T to turn. Yeah. All right, that is all the stock of season tips I can think of. I'll make a part 2 to this if there's more. If there's some that I missed, make sure to comment them in the comment section. And just fair warning, I will actually know people at the end. You know what? Never mind what I just said. I'll still use your comments anyways, and it's fair because you're commenting on that video, and I'll give you proper credit. All right. But this is just sad. What happened to this? It's stuck facing down. I gotta save this. I'm taking, well, actually, technically no stock of season time because it's nighttime. I saved you. I saved you from a long eternity of face down, or at least until Roblox gets shut. I'm joking. Roblox is not gonna get shut down anytime soon. I mean, technically, I'm about to go into something disturbing and deep here. Technically, humanity will eventually end. It is inevitable. The universe will end eventually. There's no stop to it. It will eventually end. So, technically, until, this will probably last, 20 million years. Maybe not that long, 20,000 years. And then it just dies when the universe dies and humanity dies and everything just poof.